Hi, my name is Evan Williams, and I am a customer success leader and advisor with Growth Molecules. In honor of Black History Month, this 4-part interview series, Black Voices in Customer Success, will highlight accomplished leaders and executives in customer success. My guests have decades of experience and valuable insights to share. If you're interested in learning more about how to elevate your career in customer success, what are the traits of a great CSM, and insights from tech veterans, this is the series for you. I am here with Erica Swint-Williams, Director of Client Strategy at Attentive. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, let's just dive right in. If you wouldn't mind telling me about your background, how you ended up in customer success, what drew you to the profession.
Very interesting. I think the profession chose me. My background is actually in education, so I am a former 9th and 10th grade English teacher. So I started there. That's my foundation. I have a degree in English and education, and then my master's is in business with a concentration in HR management, which is weird because I never went into HR management. But over the years, I have found myself going into roles where I'm working more with the customer, I'm educating the customer. I've done a lot of that in the healthcare world. So working with companies like CHS and Athena Health, I've had the opportunity to help customers implement software and train them on the software, and just in general, just make sure that they have a well-rounded understanding on how to make the platform work for their workflows. So I've been sort of a teacher incognito, I guess, there. But in my role, I've always had some teaching component. So I guess customer success sort of made sense for me, as it does have the component of educating your clients, digging in and building those relationships, and truly understanding, what the platform or software that you are promoting or providing, a service you're providing, fits into their day-to-day. So I've enjoyed it. I got into it with Athena Health, and I say it chose me because we went through a really quick change at Athena, and we pivoted towards customer success, and I was introduced to it with Gainsight and getting a customer success tool up and running, understanding the principles and best practices of customer success. And so that really got me into customer success, and I've been doing it ever since and loving it.
Yeah, I love hearing that you have that background in teaching and education. I feel I'm seeing more and more educators that are making this move into customer success, and I feel that not everyone fully understands that there is this really tight connection between education and customer success, because you really are, in a sense, educating your customers as a CSM. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the skills that you developed and learned as an educator, and how those have translated into your work in customer success?
Yeah, I think as a teacher, each child is different, right? So each customer is different. And so you have to understand the customer, you have to understand the child you're teaching, and you have to be able to be adaptable and change your approach. And so I think the two of them kind of go neck and neck. You don't treat every child the same. You figure out what works for that child, and you pivot, right? So that you can help that child or that customer grow and meet their goals. And so I feel like that is where that education piece is. And I do that a lot with the people that I've been so blessed to lead, the teams that I've been blessed to lead. I always say, I don't have a management style. I have a people style. I adapt. I get to know who you are and what the ways that I can help. And then I make the strategy so that I can help you be successful. And so that's how I do my customers as well.
Yeah, we talk so much about not only personas, when we think about our customers, but also business objectives. So thinking about personas, understanding what are their particular communication styles and preferences, how what are the things that motivate them, how can you most effectively educate them, those types of things. And then also at an organizational level, looking at their business outcomes, right? So making sure that you're understanding not just what your platform or your service provides, but ultimately what they're looking to achieve with it.
For sure. One of the things that I do at Attentive as a director of client strategy is executive sponsorship. So I have a team of CSMs that manage a book of business. I'm responsible for roughly 400 customers, and I have 10 CSMs. And so what we do literally is, right, we provide the service, we teach them how to use the platform, but I take it a step further in my executive sponsorship initiative to literally meet with our customers, understand where their whole business model, right? What if they have a brick and mortar? What are they doing? What are they selling? How are they selling? What other tools are they using? How do we fit into to their entire marketing strategy and their business plan altogether? So I do take the time to dig in. I do think in order to be good partners, I have to dig in to understand, where we fit, and then in turn, hopefully that then balances itself out and then gives us that value and gives me an opportunity to provide some insight on how we could provide that value even more.
Yeah. We see that as such a missed opportunity with many organizations where they're really lacking that executive sponsorship program there. So it sounds like that's been incredibly effective for you.
Yeah, it definitely has. I enjoy getting to know my customers, so we get to know each other on a personal level. And then I get to dig in a little bit, and they know that I'm just not interested in, what are you doing with your SMS strategy? What are you doing with your email strategy? But overall, what are you doing in general with your business? What are the goals you've set for the year? And what exactly are you looking to accomplish as a business as a whole? And then sometimes it comes out that they're like, we have a goal to hit $1 million, and this is how we're trying to do it. And then that sort of gets me thinking about, okay, how do we do that in the marketing world for them? And then I can kind of consult with my CSMs and give them some tips and pointers, and they'll know how to build that strategy for the client and how to direct that conversation moving forward.
Yeah, I had a leader once tell me that you really know that you've become a partner when you are on a texting basis with your stakeholders. So when you can really develop that executive sponsorship relationship and you're texting back and forth, that really shows that you've built a strong relationship together.
Yeah, it does. I think for my clients, I have a few that may text me, but for the most part, they'll send me an email, or I'll say, when it's a win. When they say, okay, they'll send you an email and say, hey, we're having a sale and I'm going to offer it up early for you and your team. Or guess what? I have been waiting to tell you about this amazing thing that we're going to be doing, and I know you're going to be excited. And one of the things I love to do is I like to be a consumer of a lot of the brands that we promote. And so it's very exciting. I did come back after Christmas though and say to my VP, I was like, I got to cut out some of the shopping. I'm learning about the deals early. My folks are keeping me up in the know about all these specials. And so they're killing me in my pocket right now. So I was like, okay, I got to see who I need to unsubscribe for just for a little while so I can get back on track.
So it sounds like there's definitely some perks to your role as well.
Oh my God, yes, it's amazing. We have some amazing clients that we tend to use when we are giving gifts to our team members, and a lot, and just personal. There's some people that I'm a consumer of and love to share gifts with my family.
Excellent. And in addition to some of those perks, what would you say that you enjoy most about your role?
I enjoy just the relationship building. I'm a people person, so I think that's kind of like, I guess that's cliche to say, I'm working with customers, But in general, I love being able to interact with the customer, get to know who they are, and just build that relationship, that one-to-one relationship. And then I also like, leading a team. I have a great team that I get to lead every day. They are very enthusiastic. They are full of energy, full of ideas. So I love to see folks dig in and start being creative and how to engage with the customer. And then I also, one of the things that I've been doing this quarter is pushing my CSMs to not only set a professional goal, but a personal development goal. What are you doing for yourself, right, to make yourself better? I think we get so focused on goals in our OKRs and retention goals that we forget sometimes that we also need to develop ourselves and make sure that we are continuing to be our best selves. So I love being able to encourage and push my team there too.
Yeah, I love hearing that, and building a team and really building a culture and keeping the morale high is so important. I'm curious, when you are hiring new CSMs or you're looking to build your team, what are some of the things that you look for in successful candidates that are going to ultimately become successful CSMs and progress?
I think the ability to come into a conversation and build rapport, be able to be relatable. That is key. Being able to synthesize data and tell a story. So much like many organizations, we do an exercise for potential candidates, and it's really a general exercise, but we get to see how folks think. And I love to see people think about literally how they're going to communicate and how they're going to deliver a message, whether it's positive or negative. How do you put the spin on it? Being able to literally have a conversation and encourage or make recommendations sometimes that are very hard. So I do look for people who already have a MarTech background in MarTech. I do look for people that have already have some form of customer service background, being able to work with customers and have some sort of escalation, right? Change management, ability to handle escalation and deal with different personalities. So I do look for those backgrounds as well. We always look for, I think we've got a lot of people first out of college too as well. So it's been really nice to see that energy as well. So people that are just open to learning new things and being able to be adaptable, because we literally still feel like we are in startup mode. We're constantly changing and constantly creating new strategies and definitely always creating new features and functionality. So I think we stay on our toes with that.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say customer success, being a CSM really requires a very well-rounded individual. So while it's a very rewarding role, it's also a very challenging role as well. You talked about building rapport, being able to analyze data, being able to have difficult conversations with customers. There's really a lot to it and a lot that's required of CSM. So again, very rewarding, but also very challenging.
Absolutely.
So now, looking into the future, can you tell me, what are some of your goals and objectives as we look, 5 years into the future? What are your goals?
Every time someone asks me that, I always laugh about it. One of the things that my husband and I have been doing is just really laying that foundation for retirement. I am 46 years old, and I'm looking to have a retirement early. And so my husband actually has been into his career for about 30 years. It's very rare to find someone who's been in the same role, been in the same industry for the last 30 years, but my husband has, and he'll be retiring in the next 5 years. So I have been really just focusing on having that foundation so that, one, we can get the last kid out of the house, and then preparing for retirement and what that would look like for the both of us. Unfortunately, our parents didn't have the luxury to retire early or have a retirement plan. So I think we are very blessed to be able to plan for retirement and start to think about what that will look like. We're going to be downsizing our home in a couple of years. So that's the first step. We're building a ranch home. So when that last kid comes out of high school in 2 years, our plan is to be moving into our ranch home. So that's the first thing. The second thing is literally for me to be in a better position in terms of work-life balance and being in a role where I feel like I'm developing new leaders and I am helping others get into the world of technology. I'm sure as you speak to other professionals, you understand that there is so much opportunity in the technology world. But I do find that as a person of color, there's not a whole lot there. And I think we don't promote it enough in our community, that it's a non-traditional role. It's not being a teacher. It's not being a firefighter or a policeman or a doctor. It's literally thinking about technology as a career. And no one introduced that to me. So I see myself making more outreach and influencing the up and coming next generation that is going into college and thinking about, where can I go? What can I do if I have this degree? Or if I want to do what you're doing, what are the skills that I need? What type of education would benefit? And it's very interesting that I'm starting to see a lot of colleges put information technology into their curriculum. So SaaS as a service is something that, the software as a service is something. It is a career. So it's something that we should definitely promote, I think, in the Black community. I'd love to see it. I know one of the things that I've discussed with my college student is just literally being probably always the only person of color in leadership in just about every organization I've gone into in the last 2 years. And so it's sometimes difficult, right, to look out and don't see faces that look like you, but then but to know that maybe you're paving the way or you're opening the door for that next manager or that next director, or giving that organization a little push, right, to do more diversity and inclusion. So really looking at promoting that in the future and having my fingerprint on developing others. And that was a lot. I hope that answers your question.
No, you did, absolutely. And lastly, as someone that's looking to follow in your footsteps, that would be interesting in achieving some of the things that you've achieved, what advice would you give to them?
I would say have an open mind. I think one of the things that got me here was just being open to something different. As you can think about it, when I was entering into the technology world, I went from teaching, and then I went from, being a trainer, training people on software, and then I went to traveling to different states, implementing a software and training physicians, and helping with acquisition and mergers. And so I had to be flexible and I had to be open to learn the opportunity. And so if you're given an opportunity, don't be afraid of it. Step outside of your comfort zone. I knew nothing about EMRs and healthcare and the technology and what it took to literally get a hospital on an EMR system or get physicians on an EMR system and get them, because they could be very stubborn sometimes, get them to adapt technology into their workflows and into their patient visits. So I was open to that, and I was eager to learn. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to find a mentor. Don't be afraid to build your network. No network is, don't let your network, and once you build a network, I'll say, don't let it die. So many people build networks and then they forget to stay in touch. Keep your networks fresh. Always refresh your network. Always reach out to your people. I think back to the very first director who gave me a chance at this technology, in this technology world, and we still keep in touch. We're Facebook friends. At one point, our kids were in the same school. So we keep in touch, and she follows my story and I follow hers. And if I ever need a job reference, I reach out to her. And it's been years since we've worked together. But we have a really great working relationship. So don't be afraid to build your network at all, and stay in touch with it. And don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Advocate for yourself. I've learned that the only way that you can propel yourself forward is to really understand the things that you want. Set some small goals for yourself, and then don't be afraid to articulate those goals to your leadership, or to say in an interview, this is where I see myself going. I'm very excited to get started here. What does it look like, 10 years from now or 5 years from now? So push the people that you are going to work with or work for. So I think those are some of the things I would recommend.
That's some incredibly valuable advice. Thank you for that, Erica. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is great. I love that you are doing these interviews and giving Black industry folks in the industry a chance to kind of share their journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's so important. Thank you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.